Greetings and welcome to Nine Ether Truth. I'm your host, Trinity Goddess. The title of this video is The Egotistical Patriarchal Nine Ether Male Syndrome. And what a video title that is. Before I get started, the Sasquatch Yeti unwanted parasites that subscribe to my channel, unsubscribe yourself. Lower life form, you are not wanted. Moving on. I've decided to break this video down into subsections to make the topic easier for you to receive. Those subsections are superiority complex, delusions of grandeur, avoidance of accountability, hypersexuality, living in a false reality, cognitive dissonance in brackets drowning in feelings, denial of who God is, taking God's place, and finally, eagerly throwing shades at, tearing down, hurting, or disrespecting nine ether women. This is going to be quite a video. So let's get started. Upon wrestling with the idea of whether I should call this a syndrome or a disease, I decided to refer to Google. And here's the definition. A syndrome is a bunch of symptoms that often occur together. Many diseases can cause the same syndrome. For example, fever and a sore throat is a very common syndrome. It can be caused by diseases as different as bacteria, pharyngitis, the flu, and cancer of the larynx. So, out of the two, I decided this is a syndrome because it has a bunch of symptoms, and the symptoms are the subsections which I just previously mentioned. Firstly, I want to put a disclaimer out there. At times you may hear me refer to us as black. I'm fully aware that we are not black. Black is not a color. Black is the essence which color comes from. I will refer to us as nine ether, melanites, melanated, chemites. Sometimes I will say black because I want us to be all on the same page. I realize that not all of us are at the same level of our knowledge. So I just put black in the title or say it sometimes so that people will comprehend the message easier. However, I really highly suggest you study etymology because when you realize that black means pale, bleached, and you realize that that's not accurately who we are, hopefully when you know better, you'll do better. And words are powerful. Words are frequency and vibration. So we want to increase our frequency and vibration, especially with the words we use. My intent is good, so I know that the ethers realize that even though I use the word black, my frequency is high, and they will know that I'm putting harmony to disharmony. So that disclaimer aside, let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the superiority complex in these egotistical patriarchal nine ether males. And in all honesty, this superiority complex was engineered into them. It was built into them over time. Has to do with being oppressed and all these images that come to them through television, through music videos, in magazines. Everything in the society reinforces that the man is the leader, he knows best, he's the power, he's the authority, and the woman is just some kind of inferior being to be kept chained into the kitchen, always barefoot and pregnant. Nothing she says matters. She doesn't have a voice or opinion. She's just there to pop out babies and use and abuse just however a man feels fit. So unfortunately, this savage, barbaric, Caucasian mindset, this Caucasian false reality, this concept has been ingrained into our nine ether men over time. Now, our nine ether men did not start out thinking this way. They knew who God was. In fact, they threw up monuments and statues, and whole kingdoms and dynasties was built in honor of the nine ether woman. The nine ether male originally knew who God was, and he kind of sort of respected God and started loving and honoring her at first, way back in ancient days. However, please do watch Yes, Black Woman is God. Here's why. Part 1, 2, and 3. My previous videos. I'll leave a link in the description so that you can easily get to them. However, I'm sure they'll be on the sidelines as well. But over time, the nine ether male became jealous of God. Why? Because we had superpowers that he did not, in particular, the ability to self procreate through parthenogenesis. I highly suggest, if you don't know parthenogenesis, to research parthenogenesis. Also, research the Bartholin gland. The black female, the original melanated female, is God. Why? Because she was the first to come from the heaven realm to the physical realm, and she populated the earth through self-conceiving. Unfortunately, over time, she lost the superpower. She lost her ability. She lost her status as a demigod and fell into a lower physical state. So that is why nowadays and in modern times, we do need the male phallus and his semen to make a baby. However, we did not start out like that. We have within our nine ether womanly body everything that's needed to make a baby, including a semen-like substance, which is to this day in the black woman's bone marrow. We also have the Bartholin gland. So we have everything we need to self-procreate. And as I've stated in previous videos, I think that there are melanated sisters somewhere in the remote bushes of the continent or the Caribbean. A few of them are still self-conceiving. It's just that nobody's saying anything and they're keeping this information hush. These fibroids and these cysts that the melanated woman is having, you got to question why they are popping up and why are they exclusive to melanated females. It is my speculation that the body is trying to get back to the melanated woman self-conceiving, although through the chemicals in the air, the GMO food, all these low frequencies from the cell phone towers, cell phones, and all these electronics that we're bombarded with, everything is designed to keep the gods from returning back to her god state and returning back to parthenogenesis. Otherwise, if the melanated woman is in a clean environment where she eats organically from the earth and the trees and the bushes, and she's not under stress and she's not oppressed and she's living free in a tropical climate somewhere, she would naturally turn back to parthenogenesis. And to me, because the Y chromosome melanated males became jealous of God's ability to self-procreate, and by the way, in being jealous and arrogant, they also designed the Tamahu through scientific means, through gene splicing. Please do research Tamahu. And they're the ones that unleashed the beast. They're the ones that created through scientific means the Tamahu in the Caucasus Mountains of Russia. And these beasts are wreaking havoc on the earth, on the air, on the water, on melanated people, on everything natural till this day. Yes, you, Y chromosome, melanated men, created these fur-headed, low vibration, lower life form, Yeti, Sasquatch, abominable snowman, be it Asiatic mongoloid, or Caucasoid. You created that creature. So everything with a fur on its head and that has a rhesus monkey gene and a canine gene and who is a lower life form, who's not nine ether, you melanated Y chromosome men created them out of jealousy of the gods. To this day, I still see these melanated men are jealous of these melanated women. And though they say they love us and they have us as wives and girlfriends and they have us as family members, you can still see that they do very much have a superiority complex mindset when it comes to running the household, running a business, interacting with the opposite sex. When I see comments online in social media, it's like they think that they should always be the one with the most attention, the one who's giving the most information, the one who has the most popularity, has the most views, has the most subscribers. Melanated men, you need to stop that mess, because God will always be better than you in every single way except for having physical upper body strength. And when we get back our superpowers and is able to telepathically lift objects with our minds, that won't even matter. Okay, so stop trying to compete with God. The melanated woman is not your adversary. Stop trying to always be combative towards her and tear her down so you can feel this false sense of a superiority complex that you have in your mind. Stop that mess. Okay, get back to honoring God. Get back to acknowledging God. Get back to knowing melanated black woman is God. Get back to that. And that is when harmony will be restored. Until then, if you think that you are the leader, you are sadly mistaken, because babies do not come out of your womb. Babies come out of the original black woman's womb. And I know you say, oh, well, all females can have babies. But there's only one original, one first, one God. And that is the black woman, the first being on the entire planet. And no, despite what you religious zombies think, babies do not come from ribs. Babies never have come from ribs, and babies will never ever come from ribs. So to wrap up this subsection, stop with your superiority complex, because you are not superior to God. You are an inferior being. You're lacking a womb. You cannot be God, because God is not lacking of anything. The black woman is 360 degrees of wholeness. The X chromosome is complete. The Y is missing a piece. The Y is missing that womb. So melanated men, you are not God. You are supposed to be God's helper mate. You are supposed to uplift her. You are supposed to honor, worship, and respect her. You are supposed to hold her up so that she can then bring harmony to the world, to the family, to the community, to the nation. And until you do that, there will always be disharmony in the melanated community and the world at large. So that is the superiority complex portion. Now let's talk about the delusions of grandeur, which is similar to the superiority complex. You melanated men think you're the shit. You think you're the best. You think you're the bomb. Well, here's what nature has to say about that. No, you're not. Okay? Nature tells you you're not. Nature tells you that you are inferior, because nature tells you that you are missing a womb. And something that's missing something is an inferior something. Plain and simple, you are not superior to God. So your delusions of grandeur is just that. It's a delusion. You're quite frankly living a delusional existence, where a man is the leader, where a man is the head of the household, where a man is better than a woman, which is hilarious because you lack a womb, can never be. You have delusions of grandeur. So what's the solution? Get rid of your delusion and get into the fact of knowing that melanated woman, black woman, is God, and stop being delusional. There's your solution to the delusion. Okay. All right, on to the next. Avoidance of accountability. Now, see, this one is quite frankly pathetic in my book. So there are a few wrongdoings and shortcomings that melanated men are guilty of. Just plain, outright, obviously, blatantly guilty of. Can't deny it. You black men, and I'm not talking about all, I'm talking about some, are guilty of abandoning the woman you impregnate. You are guilty of abandoning your children. You are guilty of trying to put down, tear down, disrespect the melanated woman. You are guilty of putting yourself like if you're first and superior and she's last and inferior. You are guilty of trying to just look at her and use her just as a sex object, and you can't see to do anything else with her. You are guilty of just trying to tear her down or compete with her or combat with her or argue with her all the time. You are guilty of trying to flex your muscles and trying to be all, I'm more powerful than you. You melanated Y chromosome men are guilty, guilty, guilty as charged. So, when a melanated woman, such as myself or someone with similar high vibration, high frequency thinking as myself, comes in and points out all those wrongdoings as I just did, you start to lash out at her and get your back up. Why? Because, oh no, you will not be held accountable. Oh no, not for your personal wrongdoings or not for the wrongdoings of your gender and your phenotype at large. Well, here's what I have to say about that. Build a motherfucking bridge and get over it, okay? Hold your motherfucking self accountable. Because that is the only way you are going to make change and improvements. And until then, you'll always be miserable or perpetually single or perpetually lonely or perpetually going through a bag of hoes or a bag of prostitutes and always be miserable. And then pretty soon, you're going to find yourself 75 and you have 15 children, adult children that don't come look for you. You're going to be up in a house all alone. You don't have any life mate, a companion to live out your old age. You're just going to die a lonely old man up in the house 5 days before somebody finds your lonely old body. So if you don't want to end up like that, then I suggest you take stock of your mentality. And when a sister or a brother tells you about something that you're doing wrong, don't lash out at them. Take their advice and make a change within yourself. Improve the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act, and use their words to empower yourself and not lash out at the person who's telling you that you're doing something wrong. Hold your fucking self accountable. Okay? That's it. That's the solution. On to the next. Hypersexuality. Wow. You know, I once did a post, a very, very long post. I would say this post had at least 5,000 words. It was extremely long. However, to this day, I did this post on Facebook, must have been about, I think 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Till this day, that post is viral and people are still sharing it. You want to know why? Because it was talking about the mandingo. Yeah, aka the male whore. Now I'm well aware of that. The mandingo is a sect, a certain section of an African group. I don't like to use the word tribe. Tribe is derogatory, and I'm well aware of that. However, that's not the context that I'm using the word mandingo. Okay, if you watch the movie Mandingo, you'll know what I'm talking about. He was the so-called slave on the plantation that kept slinging that dick. He stuck it in everything. The white woman, his sister, his mother, his auntie, his cousin. And, well, because he was a slave, he had no choice. And he was forced to do all these sexual things. That mandingo was engineered. That is not who our original Y chromosome men are. They once knew that sexual energy, sexual power was to be used responsibly. Unfortunately, fast forward to modern times, and most black men just keep slinging that dick. Does it sound familiar? Well, unfortunately, you Y chromosome melanated men are just having sex, thinking about sex, watching porn, jerking off to porn like it's going out of style. But you did not start out like that. You were engineered. Look at the music videos, listen to the lyrics, look at the images, look at porn, certain advertisements, certain TV shows. Yes, I know that you are bombarded with sexual images. You know, when you were teenagers, your hormone goes wild. Your peers reinforce this behavior. Yeah, did you bag that girl? Yeah, man, I bagged her. Ooh, I got another notch on my belt. Okay? But it's so pathetic to see men in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are thinking like prepubescent children who just came into puberty and want to jerk off and fuck everything in sight. Men, stop it, okay? Just stop. Sex ain't going anywhere. Yes, you have the plumbing and you can lay the pipe. We get it, okay? But when you see a high vibration, modest, classy, melanated female, she is not there as an option for you to have sex with. No, she's not. That comes last, providing you are her helper mate, providing you do things for her. Yeah, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to put in some work. It's not just hit it and quit it. You want that? Go pay for a prostitute, okay? Stop treating these women out here in the community like your sexual toilet just because TV and music video tells you to do so, okay? So, here's how you be a decent, responsibly sexually functioning Y chromosome 9 ether. Treat a woman like a human being. It's that simple. Treat a woman like a human being. Treat a melanated woman like she is God, because she is. So when you see her, get to know her character, find out her long and short term goals. Do things for her. If she has something around the house that needs fixing, fix it. If she needs something done, do it. Help her. And if she's somebody that you're single, she's single, and you have interest in her, find out about her family, her life, her financial goals, her plans, and in your mind, start to make plans to marry that woman. Yeah, that's right. Make plans to ask her to marry you. Remember, all of this is before sex. All of this is before sex. Uh-huh, yeah. Shocking, isn't it? Because you see, you men have been spoiled. You think that you can just have sex with the woman and then plan your life after. You have it backwards, honey. That's not the original way of our people. Okay? Because we knew that our genetics are the wealth to our nation. So we don't just give it away willy-nilly to just anybody. Find out about her family, her background. And then if she's someone that you really want to marry and be serious about, make plans to do so. And then pop the question. And then you fornicate and you consummate the union. And then you make heirs to the throne. That's the correct order. So the solution to this hypersexuality mentality, stop it. Pretty much that's the solution to every one of these subsections. But anyways, I'm going to go through it regardless. Okay. On to the next. Living in a false reality. Well, I mean, all these subsection really is you men live in a false reality. And the false reality really is very simple. Men are the leaders, men are the rulers, men are the head of the household, men are better than women, men come first before women, women are just there for men to have sex with. That's your false reality. That's not reality. The reality is the black woman is God. The reality is she comes first before all on this planet. The reality is black woman has the God particle within her DNA. So for all you fuckboys that like to put videos of black women doing degenerate things or doing low vibration things and caption it, "Is this your God?" Stop that fucking bullshit, because it don't matter what she's doing or how she's dressed or what she's wearing or what she says. She has the God particle on her DNA. And men that put them videos out just shows that they are jealous of the black woman and her power and her God power and her feminine power. It just shows that you're a little jealous homo crack baby. That's all. Okay, so stop that fucking nonsense trying to put down the black woman because you're jealous that she has a womb and she's God and you are not. Stop it. Because us high vibration women, our first eye is always wide open and we peep game. So the solution to living in a false reality is wake the fuck up. Snap out of it, dummy. Okay? You'll never be better than God. So don't try to compete with God. As I said in a previous video, know your limit and work within it. All right? Okay. On to the next. Cognitive dissonance. Now, cognitive dissonance is quite a very interesting psychological term. It basically means that you have a belief within you. And when someone brings you the truth that goes against your belief, you have an internal struggle in your mind. And so because there's a push-pull between wrong and right, truth and false reality, you lash out and you react in strange ways. You may deny what the person's saying. You may try to bash the person. You may try to divert and change the topic altogether. Either way, you have an emotional knee-jerk reaction, and so you are afflicted with cognitive dissonance. I say all that to say this. When you find out or hear or see a video about black woman as God, these egotistical patriarchal men are afflicted with cognitive dissonance because they've been taught to believe that black man is God, or at the very least, this white cracker that's going to be cracking up out of the sky and saving their ass, that's their God. So here now they are afflicted with cognitive dissonance because they are confused between their belief and the truth that they are being presented with. So 9 times out of 10, these type of egotistical patriarchal 9 ethers will lash out at the person saying black woman is God. He will say, "Oh, show me your facts. Oh, that's theoretical. That's just your opinion." Oh, but he'll say everything under the sun. Okay, and I know, this is my speculation, that deep down inside he knows black woman is God, because he came out of a black woman, and in order for him to procreate and make a duplicate of his genes or himself, he has to go to a woman. And most likely a black woman has knowledge of self. And if he is wanting his counterpart to be melanated, he needs to go to the melanated female for sex. This is plain and simple. So who else could be God? You keep going to her. You know, we don't necessarily need to go to your nicks for anything. What, your penis? Please, we can go to a sex shop. Okay? Sperm bank. So we don't necessarily need to go to Unix for anything. And look at these single mothers out here that are struggling with these children, making ends meet. She's working, she's helping the children, she's raising the children all by herself. What? The stock of you niggas is really starting to plummet lately. And it's not due to anything but your own behavior. Because if you did not abandon these women that you impregnate, there would be no child support system. There would be no women, single mothers, raising children on their own. So you've got to look at your behavior, your role in all of that. Because everything has a cause and effect. Getting back to the cognitive dissonance, smarten up, okay? Just know black woman is God. Wake the fuck up. On to the next. Denial of God and trying to take God's place. Well, you know, we kind of touched on it. Basically, black woman is God and melanated Y chromosome male, you are not, and you lack a womb. God can't be lacking of anything. I don't know how else more plain to say it. The writing is on the wall, and most of you know you are not God, or a male is not a God, but you still play the game and you reinforce each other. Hey God, what's up God? Yeah, how you been? Yeah God, yeah king. Yeah, all right. No, okay? That is completely false. This is the false reality again, but you're trying to take God's place in it. It can never be. She can house a baby in her womb for 9 months. She can birth a baby from her womb. And when that baby is born, she can sustain the baby's life by her breast. To that baby, she is God. Had she abandoned that baby by the road and left it for weeks on end, months on end, it would die. That is your God. When you come into the physical, you come out of God. And not everybody comes out of God, because only black woman is God. She is the first being on the planet. The rest are synthetic, hybrid, GMO. Okay? That you, Y chromosome melanated, created. Yeah, you made those GMOs. So stop trying to take God's place. You never can. You never will. Okay? Black woman is God. Know that. And lastly, eagerly throwing shades at, tearing down, hurting, or disrespecting 9 ether women. I mean, don't that title just says it all? It really just says it all. Okay? And a lot of the times why these 9 ether Y chromosomes do these things is just because they want to feel superior. It makes them feel high and mighty to disrespect, put down a sister, to bash her, to throw her under the bus. It makes them feel all great to cuss her out and whatever, slap her in her face, beat her up, abuse her. It makes them feel powerful. But in reality, he has no power. If a man has to resort to all of that, you are powerless. Just know that. Any power is just a delusion in your mind. For you cannot have a baby, and you have no womb in which to house a baby. You are not the first being on the planet. And the reason why they came up with the stupid babies come from ribs story is just to hide the fact that black woman is God, to make men feel part of the whole process, you know, trying to include them to make them feel not so inferior, which in reality they are inferior to God, and make them feel like they have been part of the creation process all along. However, that is a bold-faced lie. You are not part of the Genesis gene of Isis, Isis being Aset, Aset being the original melanated woman. Okay? In the beginning, there was only melanated woman. Yes. And we begat and birthed other melanated females. Yes. And until over time, the X started to morph into the Y, and out of our womb sprang the lower half of our cells, which is the Y chromosome melanated males. You came after, much, much, much later after. And we birthed you in the physical realm. You did not come from the heaven realm like the X chromosome melanated came from. So therefore, when Ma'at comes comes to restore harmony to this whole physical realm and wash everything away, when the great flood just wipes all the parasites, everything away, and those with high vibration ascend, it will only be X chromosome melanated woman to ascend. The Y chromosome melanated male who are not original of heaven will either get washed away or they will just become extinct over time. One of the two. If that's a shocker to you, go ahead and watch Yes, Black Woman is God Part 1, 2, and 3, which are my previous videos. I leave a link in the description so you can follow along, get yourself up to speed as to why I say that. Because this is spiritual fact. And all I have to say is that Y chromosome men, you need to get your act together, because we created you out of our womb to be our helper mate. And you're not very helpful as a collective. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule and not everyone is the same. But the majority of you men are, for the most part, predators to the Black woman and the children. You are actually a hindrance to our progress as a nation. You are not collectively defending the community, defending the nation. You don't have an organized army, and you're not fighting the oppressor. You're quicker to fight the Black woman before you fight the oppressor, Black man. So, melanated Y chromosome, get your act together, smarten up, find the nearest melanated female of any age, bow down to her, completely submit and commit to her, and say to her, yes, melanated woman, I know you are God, and I hope you know you are God too. And for the rest of my and your physical life, I will treat you as God. That's it. I don't care if she's a hooker on a stripper pole or a queen on a throne or anything in between. She has the God particle on her DNA. It is not something external or superficial. It is baked in her cake, and it is not baked in yours. There was a brother who posted something. He typical egotistical patriarchal mentality 9 ether brother, and he posed a question: is the Black male sacred since he comes from the Black female's womb? And a lot of these dick pandering females answered, oh yes, yes, king, yes, of course, absolutely. Please watch my video, The Pandering Black Women. I'll leave a link in the description. And I was quick to jump on the post and say nope, no, absolutely not. And he says to me in his reply, well, why not? And I said to him, because he's an inferior being to God, which he came from. And his reply was, well, if she's God, doesn't that make him automatically God by default? You see this little trick that these niggas try? Okay? This is appalling. I digress. So I said to him, and very cleverly, I might add, you know what? Shit comes out of the Black woman's ass too, but that don't make it sacred. All right. I'll end this video on that note. I'm not sure. Actually, yes, I am sure what my next topic will be. I will be discussing the Akashic records, which, by the way, is only exclusive to the X chromosome melanated and not the Y chromosome melanated. So please do look out for that video. I usually try to upload a video every Sunday. However, I've been releasing videos on various days of the week, so I'm going to try to upload that one by Wednesday of this week. So please do subscribe if you want updates as to when I do release videos. Leave a comment in the comment box and share your feedback on this or any one of my videos. Don't forget to like or share, especially share the knowledge. Until next time, this is Trinity Goddess saying oneness.